Hi, welcome to Funded. I'm Caitlin Finney, and this is a Clearinghouse CDFI podcast, here to give you a glimpse into the community development work Clearinghouse CDFI is doing around the country. Listeners can expect to tune into conversations discussing what a CDFI is, how getting funded by a CDFI works, community impact stories, and how we are all working towards building better communities together.
Hello, and welcome back to Funded by Clearinghouse CDFI. I'm your host, Caitlin Finney. Today, we're going to look at how the next generation of adults will be shaping community development as we know it. That's right, we're going to be talking about Gen Z and the various initiatives that are at the forefront of their minds and how they relate to the work that community development leaders are doing today. Many of the social issues that Generation Z prioritize, things like healthcare, affordable housing, and closing the racial wealth gap, can all be championed by the efforts that community development leaders are doing today. As a member of Generation Z myself, and also working for a community development institution, I have seen firsthand the crossover that these two entities have. Both entities have a mission for social change and to provide resources that they know will benefit the communities. So today, I wanted to take a look at how both groups could possibly work together in the future to make some serious change throughout the country. Making improvements to the healthcare industry is a core issue for Generation Z. The healthcare industry is one example of where Generation Z is focusing their efforts. The oldest members of this group are aging out of their parents' health insurance plans and beginning to invest in their own health insurance for the very first time. Many can only afford coverage through the Affordable Care Act and the Medicaid expansion provided by the government. When it comes to healthcare, the youth today care more about convenience, efficiency, and transparency. At the same time, the approach Generation Z has taken when it comes to healthcare is that providers should be holistic, convenient, and nurturing. And in many ways, community development leaders have the same approach and the same mission. Clearinghouse CDFI, in particular, is utilizing the Federal New Markets Tax Credits Program to fund such healthcare facilities in underserved areas. And MTCs, for short, are reserved for severely distressed areas that are unlikely to attract traditional investors, making rural areas of the country experience a lack of access to vital healthcare centers. One example of this program in action with Clearinghouse CDFI is our recently funded healthcare project in Yuba City. Clearinghouse CDFI provided $8 million of financing to Impala Healthcare for the expansion of their existing campus. This expansion will broaden healthcare access to approximately 16,000 unique patients. But beyond healthcare, the project offers a promise of economic revitalization. It will also be generating 94 construction jobs, roughly 80 clinical jobs, including 24 dedicated positions solely for low to moderate income residents. Like previously mentioned, it's becoming increasingly hard for Generation Z to afford healthcare plans if they're not provided through their work or the company that they're working for. So, knowing that, this group of adults has aimed to make affordable and accessible healthcare a priority in the coming year. The work that Clearinghouse CDFI and other community development financial institutions are doing to bring affordable healthcare centers to rural and low-income areas is going to be vital in the fight that Gen Z is leading to bring universal healthcare to all. Another initiative that Generation Z has focused on is access to affordable housing and economic security. Like the generations that have come before us, Generation Z wants to have stable and well-paying jobs and to avoid any debt. But with the high cost of living, the increasing cost of a college education, and the long-term financial toll associated with both are of particular concern. The first class of Gen Z has graduated college, stating that job availability and security have greatly affected their choice in which majors they decide to go into. The first class of Generation Z college graduates have come and gone and now entered the workforce, but upon entering, majority of those students stated that they took economic security and job availability into their consideration when choosing their major. And although this generation had the wherewithal to keep those factors in mind, more than 2 million have had to move back in with their parents or guardians in 2020. So when it comes to earning money, Generation Z is interested in forging their own path. But the high cost of living, combined with the recent economic uncertainty brought on by the pandemic in 2020, has made their financial goals nearly impossible to reach. In order to combat these issues, Generation Z is leading the fight in one of the greatest cost of living expenses: housing. Gen Z has begun to advocate for more access to resources that will provide affordable housing. Access to affordable housing would assist largely in the fight to lower the cost of living for them and in many low-income areas. Community development institutions are constantly looking for creative ways to bring affordable housing developments to such areas. Clearinghouse CDFI, in partnership with Jamboree Housing Corporation, a nonprofit focused on affordable housing, recently brought a similar development to Lancaster, California. The Laurel Crest Apartments provided 71 eco-friendly and affordable housing units for those who fall below the average income. Residents have benefited from the affordability and thus have seen the positive impacts that come with such projects. Okay, last topic we'll discuss today, but certainly not least, is the fight against the racial wealth gap. This initiative is important to people all around the company, but especially Generation Z and community development leaders. Gen Z are the most racially and ethnically diverse group the United States has seen, with nearly half of our members being represented by some kind of group of color. Generation Z values equity and inclusion for this group in particular. We are shining a light on the nation's steep racial divides and are actively working to level the playing field and grounds for all people of all backgrounds. Clearinghouse CDFI has a similar drive to provide economic equity and inclusion to traditionally underserved groups. It's dedicated effort that will help level the playing field for minority-owned business owners. So, as you can tell, the intersection of initiatives between Generation Z and community development institutions like Clearinghouse CDFI have the means to bring great change and positive impact to the nation. As more of Generation Z starts to enter the workforce, their passion and mission can be utilized greatly in the world of community development. If you'd like to learn more information about the healthcare affordable housing projects and Fulcrum Fund that Clearinghouse CDFI is participating in, please visit our website. The pages will be linked below for you. If you are a member of Generation Z interested in community development, please consider joining our Be Bold or Be Bolder internship program to learn about how you can affect positive change in your community. Thank you for joining me on this 9th episode of Funded by Clearinghouse CDFI. I hope it was educational for you. I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.